afternoon. We are the Group C. We are going to discuss about Dr. Jose Rizal as a womanizer. So the first presenter is Pore-Ann Manau-Panau.
Hi, hello everyone. Good day. We are the Group C. In this video, we will be talking about one of the controversies of Dr. Jose Rizal. If you want to know what was that and more about that, let's get started. After the death of Dr. Jose Rizal, one of the national heroes of the Philippines, Filipinos or even people abroad studied his life to value his very existence. It resulted in many controversies, and one of those controversies is Dr. Jose Rizal as a womanizer. If we go back to his timeline and discuss all the love strings he had, there are plenty of women who have an affair with him. Many people thought of Jose Rizal as the country's national playboy, while others thought he couldn't get elected because of his numerous love affairs.
So the next presenter is Joel Malazarte.
To proceed, this one of the controversies of Dr. Jose Rizal of him being a womanizer has two main gossips, and these are if he is really a womanizer or not. This became a concern for us as a Filipino because up until today, we study the life and works of Dr. Jose Rizal. The Rizal Law, officially designated as Republic Act number 1425, is a Republic Act, a Philippine law that mandates all educational institutions in the Philippines to offer courses about Dr. Jose Rizal. Because of this law, many students, especially college students, just like us, will try to know and continue to discuss the true happenings of his life. The purpose of this research and what we look to know was if Dr. Jose Rizal really a womanizer or not, or he is just like a frail man like us.
So thank you, Joel. So the next presenter for the body is Key Martyr.
During his lifetime, the 35-year-old Jose Rizal was linked to many women. As you can see in the picture in the PowerPoint, these are the some of the girlfriends of Jose Rizal back then. The other ladies will be followed. Jose Rizal started to travel at a young age, and almost everywhere he would go, he would find a young woman suitable paramour. Since he is a man of words, he can easily converse with different people with different characteristics, especially girls. It is controversial for Rizal because he is known to be a respected person, not only in the Philippines but also in other countries. Many people considered him as the country's national playboy. Others also believe that he won't be able to secure an elective position because the number of the lions he had. 9 ladies caught our national hero's eyes. First, we have Segunda Katigbang. As you can see in the first picture, this is Segunda Katigbang, a classmate and a friend of Jose Rizal. Segunda has described eloquent eyes, rosy cheeks, and a beautiful smile. She studied in the same school as one of Rizal's sisters. At the same time, Jose Rizal was studying at the University of Santo Tomas and met Leonor Valenzuela, also known as Orang. This is her in the second picture. She is the neighbor of Jose Rizal when he stayed in the Intramuros. The third one, as you can see, is she is Leonor Rivera, and she is the daughter of the cousin of Rizal's father, which means that they are cousins. Yes, you heard it right. Leonor Rivera and Jose Rizal are cousins. Not only that, Leonor Rivera is Jose Rizal's childhood sweetheart. However, the young lady married Henry Charles Kipping, an English railway engineer. Next slide, please. Next is the daughter of the former mayor in Manila, Consuelo Ortega y Rey. According to Consuelo's diary, he met Jose Rizal in Madrid and they talked the whole night. But unfortunately, one of Rizal's compatriots, which is Eduardo Dilete, had Consuelo's eyes. Also, during this time, Jose Rizal was engaged to Leonor Rivera. The fifth on the list is the 20-year-old Seco Usuy, whom Rizal called Osei-san. She works at the Spanish legation in Tokyo. Seco caught Rizal's attention while she was walking in the garden. The remaining ladies on the list will be discussed by Aruel.
Thank you, Martyr. So the next presenter is Aruel Hoquino.
After a month of being in a relationship, they broke up for Rizal had to leave for San Francisco. After Rizal's stay in the US, he headed to London and stayed in a boarding house run by Charles Biquet. He met Charles' daughter, Gertrude Biquet, and she is nicknamed Hetty by Rizal. Getting help, uh, Getting helps Rizal with her artworks, and with her assistance, he was able to finish his works, namely Prometheus Bound, the triumph of death over life, and the triumph of science over death. Some say it is a one-sided love of a Hetty for Rizal. Some sources also say that Rizal got cold feet, making him decide to leave London for Paris. The seventh the seventh lady is Suzanne Jacobi, a Belgian woman who was the landlady's niece in Brussels, where Rizal was staying. He spends a lot of time with Suzanne during his 6 month stay in the city. However, Rizal was not into her. That on his second coming in Brussels, his only goal was to work on his novel El Filibusterismo. The lovely eighth woman was Nellie Bousted, a half-Filipina and a daughter of a British businessman, Eduardo Bousted. She was also the fiancée of Antonio Luna. The two of them had an amicable breakup, and through a letter, she wished for Rizal to be safe as he was about to leave Europe. Lastly, the wife of Jose Rizal, Josephine Bracken, an Irish woman born in Hong Kong, during Rizal's exile, they met in Dapitan and fell in love with each other.
Thank you, Hoquino. So for the next presenter is Trisha May Lafuente.
So, according to Su 2013, unlike popular belief, Rizal was not a womanizer. Being involved with numerous women does not mean that he is a womanizer. This is proved by his sister Trinidad. Trinidad states that Josephine Bracken, the ninth woman on the list, and the one whom he subsequently married while he was executed in the Pitan, was the only woman he returned home with. This controversy is only a means for people to defame Rizal. Trinidad also claims that Rizal is a woman's sweetheart, captivating them with his charisma and humor. His goal isn't to attract attention by making false promises to women. In his prestigious message to the young women of Malolos, Rizal expresses his deep admiration for Filipino women for their important positions as a wife and a mother, as well as for being its supply of principles in making sure the country's improvements by instilling good values and knowledge in the young generation and shaping them into beneficial and upstanding individuals. With that being said, Jose Rizal was actually a pioneer in pushing for the advancement of women's welfare in society, rendering him a great gentleman. He was convinced that women may significantly impact their country's freedom. Because the Philippines was still enslaved by colonialism when Rizal wrote this letter, he used emancipation.
Thank you, Trish. For the next presenter is Kathleen Ivy Juanilo.
There is no effect on Rizal's nationalism that he is a womanizer, because according to our research, it is stated there that it is not true that he is a womanizer, and we also know that he is a respectable national hero. So it is important for most of our time today to answer and know about this controversy in order to preserve the good reputation of our hero, Dr. Rizal, because we know that people nowadays are fond of bad issues, so it is important for everyone to answer and know the truth nowadays. As Rizal is called a womanizer because he was linked by a lot of women, it does not affect Dr. Jose Rizal. Rizal's ladies came in Rizal's ladies came each in turn, and he didn't draw them with cash or property purchased with public assets. Rizal is a public saint, not an early show icon whose kind goes back and forth. The works and deeds of Saint outlast their age. As a writer, he still continues to write a novel that was related to the history of the Philippines. As he wrote those novels, it blooms and let Filipinos know the truth about Spaniards. So it does not affect him and also his writing of novels. In our time today, womanizer is still relevant in our country. Some individuals pass to considerable efforts to persuade people into romance or sexuality using such information. Whether they are educated on the foundation of courtship, both men and women are culprits of all this. People play mind stop to keep affectionate relationship in or infatuation afloat, or to deceive their beloved into the never quitting. Some people are so enslaved by their love that they covertly betray behind their partner's back because they don't want to see their lover with somebody else. I could go on and on with funny relationships and lying, but this piece is about womanizing.
So for the summary of our conclusions, this research, according to us, the researchers, would reveal if Dr. Jose Rizal is a womanizer or just a fameable man like the rest of us. So this controversy is simply means for defaming Rizal. So Dr. Jose Rizal, according to Trinidad, is a woman's sweetheart, in teasing or enticing woman with his charisma and wit. His intention is not to draw attention to himself by making false promises to women, according to Sue 2013. Dr. Jose Rizal expresses his deep and admirations for Filipino women in his prestigious message to the young women of Malolos, praising them for their essential roles as wives and mothers, as well as for serving as source of principles in ensuring the country's progress by instilling fair values and knowledge in the young generations and shaping them into beneficial and upstanding individuals. So Dr. Jose Rizal was a great gentleman because he was a pioneer in advocating and promoting women's welfare in the society. He believed that women might have a significant impact on the liberations on their country. So Dr. Jose Rizal used the word emancipation in this letter since the Philippines were still enslaved by colonialisms at the time, according to Palafox 2012. So the researchers learned that Rizal's goals not to draw attentions by making false promises to women. So because Dr. Jose Rizal is a man of his words, this uh, controversy is only meant to bring him down because Dr. Jose Rizal was, as we all know, well known. He made new friends, showed promises, and admired him, especially to the girls. So some constantly talk behind your back. So according to the researchers, we learned that people constantly talk behind your back and insult you for no apparent reasons. So they are jealous or think they are superior to you. So people will continuously try to bring you down, as Rizal has done in the past. He ignores the allegations and concentrates on his aim because they are untrue. So for the researchers individual relations. So this present Rhiecel Jane Lumangtad.
Realization of the researchers. According to Trisha May B. Lafuente, after researching about one of the controversies of Jose Rizal, specifically being a womanizer, I discovered and realized new things. First is the fact that Jose Rizal is not a womanizer. However, we can label him as a person who quickly gets attached. He is also a loyal person who knows his priorities and is committed to them. Being involved in many women does not mean that Rizal is a womanizer. In fact, all the women who became involved with him came one at a time, and not simultaneously. Moreover, Jose Rizal is the apple of the eye for women, attracting them by his charm, and with is not his intention to lure them with wrong promises. Thus, this controversy does not make him less of a hero. His literary works and propaganda movement enlightened the Filipinos towards a patriotic goal. For my realization, I have realized about the controversies of Rizal was just a false accusation. As I gathered some data about his controversy being a womanizer, this accusation was being answered by her sister Trinidad. As in, as in her statement that Rizal women came one by one, and he didn't draw them with money or property, but with public resources. Rizal is a public holy person, not an early show symbol whose sort goes this way and that. The works and deeds of holy people outlived their age, according to Poe 2011. This statement of Trinidad, sister of Rizal, shot and cleared the accusation about Dr. Jose Rizal. He may have a lot of women in her life. However, he found Josephine, and as they say that they have married before the execution of Rizal. And by this, it proves that Dr. Jose Rizal was a holy person and does not do a controversy about being a womanizer.
So thank you, Lumangtad, for the next presenter is Lumanta. EJ Louis Lumanta.
So, based on the research, I take Rizal is not a womanizer, unlike most rumors. Rizal's involvement with many women does not mean that he is a womanizer, because the truth is, stated according to Trinidad, Rizal is the apple of the eye of women, which attract them with his charm and talent, but does not mean that he is a womanizer. He has no intention of making attention to lure women with false desires. One of the first thing we learned about Jose Rizal was that he was linked to many women when he was still alive. In fact, almost everywhere he goes, he will find a suitable friend. Despite this, Rizal is very strict with his sister, especially with the men they date. In a letter, in a letter to Soledad, she rebuked her for not introducing her sweetheart to their family. Now, before we accuse Rizal of being anti-feminist, let's not forget that the hero also supported women's right to proper education. As she wrote in her letters to the women of Malolos, according to Kinney Ann J. Palafox 2012, results overwhelming respect for Filipino women in their important roles as wives and mothers, as a source of value in ensuring the country's development by feeding the youth to the proper values and necessary knowledge, and shaping them to be useful and responsible citizen can be seen from her famous letter to the young women of Malolos.
So thank you, Lumanta. So that's all for our PPT presentation. So thank you for listening and have a good day. God bless you. Bye.